Right, welcome to tonight's stream. And we're going to be playing Alone With You by Benjamin Rivers Gaming. So, I really don't know much on it, so I believe it's PS4 only. Possibly, I believe it's also on PC if I remember right. So, we'll dive into this. I'm playing on the PS4. So, let's get started. Digging the graphics right off the bat. Okay, so other than movement, that's really all I have right now. Give me a quick second. I'll be right back. I gotta put my I turn on a humidifier for my son. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. I need to check something here real quick. Yep. Hold on, just fixing something in Discord. Alright. I'm back. Ready to go. Let's explore what's going on here. Return to Colony A. I do have some control over this. Command hallway. Huh. hollow sim chamber inaccessible. Those apparently are just lights. Crew quarters inaccessible. Ship hangar inaccessible. So we'll just keep heading up here, I suppose. Sync mission data with AI core. I'm glad you made it back. I assume you were at your usual lookout after the rift again. Or over the rift again, sorry. You must have seen the worsening situation out there. Did you notice the planet's instability on your way here? I rushed. I appreciate that. I won't waste time. Let's go over our situation. We may not get another opportunity. Situation is, unfortunately, quite dire. The Hudson Cartier terraforming project 27A has unequivocally failed. As you remember, we started out with dozens of staff, over 2,000 robots and drones, and a very specific plan. This facility was the best in the sector. Now, as far as the home office is concerned, the entire facility is a write-off. 15 years of work has been undone. I apologize for being so direct, but would it shock you to know that, by my estimates, we have less than a month to survive? Yeah, it's going to shock me. I'm afraid so. At the current rate of decay, Epsilon Eridani B will become dangerously uninhabitable in 3 weeks. Hold on. Sorry, my kid's needing some more help. What's up, Crooked? So this game is called Alone with You. It's supposed to be a pretty story-driven game, and apparently have multiple branching stories that tons of there's so many different changes to the story that there's supposed to be tons of different playthroughs. We still have an escape ship here in Colony A. It is structurally sound, and I believe I can help you fly it so we can escape. Is my fan too loud? Let me know if it is or isn't. It's still 85 degrees out here. It's god-awful hot. If we can transmit an emergency signal to the home office, we can likely intercept a company vessel in our ship and gain transport back home. The problem is there are 4 key systems on the escape pod that I can't repair, and you aren't trained to deal with by yourself. Thank you for saying that. I was really afraid it was going to be too loud, because it is hot. No problem, man. I appreciate you coming by even for a little bit. I literally just started. However, as you may recall, this colony includes a hollow sim chamber to help the population deal with the often lonely, monotonous reality of life out there. Thankfully, that chamber is still operational, if a little glitchy, and is where my plan comes in. 4 other colonists were experts in the appropriate fields. I don't believe you ever met them. Winnie Laurier was our communications expert, and she could have helped us prepare the navigation systems. Pierre Tong was the colony director and an engineering genius. He would have been able to assist us with the thrusters. Leslie Bahardal, I can't even, I'm not even going to try, ran the Argos domes, and I'm sure she could have helped us maximize the ship's life support and food processing. And Jean Lumumba led the resource management teams, and could have shown us how best to keep the ship powered and stable. I can help direct you to the materials we need to fix the ship, but some of the details were known only to these 4 crew members. Sadly, some of the systems have become corrupted as the colony has failed. I am less useful to you now. But if we can use the HoloSim to recreate these 4 colleagues, we might stand a chance of getting off this planet. Their expertise may be the only thing that allows us to escape. It's a long shot, but if we work together, I think we can make it. So that's the plan. Before you go to your quarters, though, let's register your name so the holograms know what to call you. We shall go with the traditional Vlad. Okay, you've entered your name as Vlad, is that correct? Yes. Excellent. I'm glad we got this straightened out. So how are you doing today, Crooked? I love these kinds of graphics. They make me happy. Oh, that's a bummer. Private quarters. Rest for a while. That seems to be the only option. I literally just gave blood a few days before getting sick. Damn. Good thing, because they don't let you give it away when you're sick. At least they don't here in the States. So it's kind of like a perfect storm of badness. Oh, yeah, but yeah. I bet. Good morning. I know you've just woken up, but as we discussed, time is of the essence. How are you functioning today? Are you well? Yeah, I guess. That's good. Your task will be easier if you're well rested. Please come see me again in the core at your earliest convenience. Just head north to the core and we can discuss your mission for the day. Okay, Vlad. Last night I scanned what's left of the colonies in hopes of finding material we can salvage. I think I found a few good leads. I think it would be best if you first go to the comms relay and find 5 communication devices we can use for the escape ship. The comms relay is where Winnie Laurier was last known to be. Hopefully you can find out some more information on her on your trip as well. You ever see the movie Moon? Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that movie. That and the spaceship part of Broken Age. Yes, I could see that. When you're ready, you can go south to the shuttle bay and plot a course there. The shuttle bay. Use the shuttle. I do love these graphics, they're awesome. And you can control it just going up and down. I don't know if there's anything I need to be avoiding. It's just kind of fun to play with. It's probably been a long time since you've been to the comms relay. I don't believe you had occasion to come here often, if at all. When the outer colonists separated, this was considered a prime location. But only one person really had the expertise to make good use of it. He does look like Mysterio. It's kind of funny. Hold on real quick. I want to make sure that PlayStation didn't change the name. Okay, no, they left it alone with you. Good. Alright. Remember, you're looking for components we can use to power the escape ship's communications. 5 good parts should do it. Yeah, this is on PS4. I believe the game's on PC as well. but it just came out for PS4, no, 2 days ago. Oh boy, even from here, I can sense how damp and musty it is in there. It probably smells like you're in an old puddle. The increasing acidity of this planet's rainfall has apparently weakened the damaged structures there. It's partly why I don't quite understand why you kept going to that lookout near the rift. It's harmful for your suit. Looks like the elevators are partly affected. They'll probably only move one floor at a time as a safety precaution. Oh, that's a bummer. It's made by the guy, I don't know if you played it, but there was a game called Home. And it's made by the same guy, and that was on PC. So maybe maybe if this does well, he'll bring it over to PC. Server room's locked. Guess we use the elevator. This elevator goes up from here. Yes, let's go up. Terminal room 2. Home was kind of a it had graphics almost like this, except it was completely side-scroller, and it's a survival horror game. It was actually really good. I enjoyed it. It's pretty cheap too, if I remember right. It's like $4.99. Inspect broken terminal. Looks like that terminal isn't functioning properly. Perhaps the environmental conditions affected it. R2? It's a portable safety light. They use sophisticated LEDs in class for over a year each. Its location suggests it was kept on, perhaps as a beacon, or because someone kept going there. If that was the case, whoever was in the comms relay was using that room frequently. Series of torn pages, likely from that notebook on the first floor. It looks like the story starts here. Been wanting to get into streaming myself. I just don't know what to play. Sweet, man. Yeah, it's a really like really to me. I just kind of stream whatever I like. I know there's a lot of people that try to cut out a niche for them and everything, and like that niche can be very, very broad. Really, like you don't have to just zero in on one kind of game. And to me, a lot of it is like I love indies and I love roguelikes. So that's really the vast majority of my library are those games. I do have some AAA games, and I do play some larger games from time to time. Like I really want Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. I've heard it's amazing. I'll probably get it a little later, but like you can really like find kind of what. Really just go with what you enjoy to play, because if you're not having fun streaming, people just don't enjoy to come watch. That's my 2 cents anyhow. Yeah, this must have taken forever to animate. It's one guy that does it too, which is crazy. So it's a series of torn pages like, oh yeah, the story starts here. The Dark. Why struggle? You know I've been here. I've been waiting all this time. Why didn't you give up? Paula, it's not my nature just to give up. Quantic Dreams games. So they did Heavy Rain, correct? Paula, it's just not my nature to give up. The Dark. Really? I'm not so sure about that. For a long time, even amongst your peers, you gave up. Or at least, you seemed to withdraw from them. Isn't that like giving up? Paula, I don't think so. Yeah, I liked Heavy Rain. I have tried a little bit of Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy, but really haven't played much. I am excited about... I never played Beyond Two Souls. I am excited about their new game that they're working on, though. The name is escaping me, but I'm definitely interested in it. So The Dark, that's interesting, because they did. The further you isolated yourself, the less they felt like reaching out. Didn't you notice that? Yes, I noticed that. I assume there's more. Maybe you'll find more pages as we press on. It's interesting, though, isn't it? Detroit. Yes, Detroit looks awesome. I think it was Detroit Real Human or something. It has some weird subtitle to it, but that looks awesome, and I'm excited for that. I thought so. Hopefully we should get to read the rest of the story. We should continue. I'm stuck. Torn pages. Alright, let's go up. How are you doing so far? Do you need any help? No, I'm good. You're very resourceful, Flat. Yes, I am. If you need a reminder about what you're doing when you're in one of the facilities, just press L2 and I'll help. Huh. That's kind of cool. Alright. My son is having a hard time tonight. To Tower Bridge exit. Hold on real quick. This will be interesting to see because it does say, so let me see, what does it say here? I can't even see what it says anyway. It does say something about a sci-fi romance or whatever. This will be interesting to see how this goes. Hold on, my son's asking for something. I'll be right back. Sorry, I'm back. Wonder how long this game is. I don't know. I wonder if it's already up on howlongtobeat.com. It's an open relay conduit. It looks like someone has repaired it with this terminal more than once in an attempt to continue transmissions. There's some clever work here. Your scan will help me configure the ship's communication parts to be more redundant and fail-safe. Now we only need 4 more communication parts from this area. Sweet. Yeah, let me know what you find. What is going on? It is very new still. Who knows? It's a small pile of physical books. All colonists were issued data pads with e-reading abilities, but I suppose that wasn't to everyone's liking. There are assorted philosophy titles from old human writers. You can see very neat notes written in the margins. The first page has a monogram on it. W. No, they never really are. I want to say home was only a few hours, to be honest. Conduit room. I wish I could play this. Highly story-driven indie games with plot-changing choices. It's like right up my alley. I know, and I was curious about it, and then I saw someone on Destructoid did a review, and they talked about how no two people will kind of have the same playthrough experience, and then they also went on to say, like, this game really made them feel for the relationships that it has you go through. Like, they said it did a really good job of making you care about everything. It looks like a further set of pages from the field notebook on the first floor. The story continues. The dark. So what made you change your mind? You're here, talking to me now. You wouldn't have entertained that before. What changed? Paula. Well, this is the end, isn't it? There's no one else out there, so I'm talking to you. The Dark. You know that's not true. There's still others out there. You can hear them on your radio. Paula. But they don't know that. They don't know I made a new radio. The Dark. No, of course not. That's what makes you so interesting. You withdraw, but in your way, you still reach out. You just don't want anyone to discover that. Alright, no problem, man. Paula falls silent for a moment. The story sounds like it's getting serious. I'm curious. Who are you siding with right now, Paula or the Dark? Right now? Neither. I don't have enough. Maybe you're right. We should see how this story plays out first. For now, let's move on. There's certainly fewer components in the tower than you might think. I don't believe the drones finished fitting it as well as the others. As the construction of the colony's prefab elements continued, resource allocation estimates often became skewed. Too bad, really. It's a remote service panel for running diagnostics and checking alerts. It's been jerry-rigged to allow non-standard signals. This work is unconventional, but I can use this to boost the signal in the escape ship's distress beacon. Now we only need 3 more parts. That's good. We'll go back up again. The special foil wrappers were used for food and snacks, but of course you already knew that. You know, it took over 10 Earth years of R&D to develop food that could travel such distances and still be palatable. Because of the efficiency with which Hudson Cartier transported colony deployments, a lot of food could be included. Previous colonial missions were less successful because of inefficient cargo and food stores. Of course, until the agrodomes were built, you all had to subsist on just these various portable stores. It's a hoard of old Earth technology on that dusty shelf. Amazingly, several of the pieces are still functioning. Someone must have collected these old computers, sound systems, and radios. Your scan will help me to fabricate something inventive for the ship, I'm sure. Now we only need 2 more communication parts for this area. Oh, nice. It's a standard security panel. It must be what locked the other doors in this part of the relay. Are you going to turn off the security locks? Yeah? Yes. It's a standard issue bedroll. They're made of highly dense microfibers, so they're very lightweight and yet warm. It looks like someone had been using it as a habitat of sorts. Very curious. Another portable safety lamp. That one still has power, but just barely. It must be slightly newer. The lamp looks like part of a little setup, including a bedroll. Someone must have been sleeping there. Please keep me informed of any other interesting details you find. Found a hefty stack of books there. These ones are mostly adventure stories. You humans do seem to love these kinds of fantastic tales. The owner really did prefer physical reading, I see. They surely had access to digital versions of all of this. In fact, there was an entire database. As with the other books, these bear the W monogram. Down. It appears to be a heat-absorbing synthetic blanket, and it looks like it was hung up on that conduit. What do you think it was used for? I'm going to say a towel. I suppose that would make sense. The standard issue blankets are quick drying after all. Stack of pocket-sized physical books. I see. Looks like these were mostly guides to social interaction and workplace issues. I suppose whoever owned these books was, as you say, boning up. Is that what you say? Not really. Oh, I see. Then they were practicing, or at least studying, in regards to social interaction. Curious. Looks like that portable terminal still has a tiny bit of battery life left. That model was known for being quite long-lasting. I can use your scan of its components as a guide for making the escape ship communications equipment more efficient. They only need one more communication part from this area. That's good. Okay. Pull it down. Oh, these games make me thirsty as hell. Gotta talk a lot. Use bedroll. Looks like a further set of pages from the field notebook on the first floor. The story continues. The dark. So, who do you listen to most? The gardener woman? The drone leader? The self-appointed director? Paula interrupting. William. Sometimes he still broadcasts in the old colony. He sends me little messages, actually. The dark. And why him? Why William? Paula. He was so important here. He kept things working. He kept things repaired. He was essential and nobody really gave him the respect he deserved. The dark. So what? Do you think you can relate to him? Paula. I don't know. All of them? I think I just understood him the best. Of all of them, I think I just understood him the best. When he stopped communicating, it felt like the end of the world. The dark. Well, when you think of it, it might be. You said it yourself. Paula gives the dark a cold, long stare, the toughest she can muster. The dark. There's no point in arguing the inevitable. Paula doesn't say anything. It seems to be the end of the story for now. I wonder if William is in reference to Mr. William King, who is the maintenance chief in Colony B. You scanned a still functional terminal that is apparently hooked up to the tower's mainframe. I bet that room is warm. The mainframe is unfortunately damaged, but the terminal you scanned can still help us. Good work. Well, you found all the components I need for now. When you're finished there, you can use the shuttle to return home. Oh, those are the first pages. This looks like a standard issue field notebook. Notepads are inexpensive and easy to transport. It seems rather inefficient, but I suppose tactility is important in forming emotionally impactful memories. Speaking of which, this looks like the beginnings of some sort of fiction. That's interesting. It reads the last interview with Paula M. Paula had suffered a long and arduous struggle against the dark, and now, in her final moments with it, she relented to its questions. These are the only pages included with this notebook. If we want to read the rest, we'll have to find the other pages. What's up, Dark Crow? How's it going, man? And welcome to the stream. The comms relay appears to be in the worse shape than I expected, but good work. It looks like you found what we needed for today. Go ahead and use the shuttle to come back home. Oh, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. I really do appreciate it. So, how are you doing, man? Alright, let's see where this goes. I'm not doing too bad. So far enjoying this game. I really don't know much about it, but I'm enjoying it. I love the art style. It looks just gorgeous, and it's written pretty well so far. Excellent, you've arrived. Please see me in the core immediately so we can process your findings. I do wish it was Friday, and that way I don't have to work, but I gotta go to work tomorrow, so it won't be a very late night stream. Alright, okay, I've seen the data you scanned and collected today out there. Thank you for bringing this to me. I have good news as well. I've got the Hollow Sim chamber up and running. The constructs of the 4 colonists are already loaded. They're already working on helping you, but due to the currently limited availability of power and processing cycles, the chamber is a little shaky. You can retire to your quarters. When I've got the Hollow Sim stable enough for you to enter, I'll call for you. Oh, dude, thank you so much for the host. It's awesome, man. I really do appreciate it. Alright, I guess off to the crew quarters we go. And once again, it just lets me rest. Everything I know about this game so far is it's just kind of story driven. Oh, gotta get another drink of water. Whew. Damn, man. Are you at least having a good time? Vlad, can you hear me? I'm sorry to wake you, but I need to show you something. I was able to make the final adjustments, and I got the Hollow Sim chamber nice and stable for you. I think it's best if you meet one of the others as soon as possible, so could you please go to the chamber in the South Hall? Did you wake me up for this? It seems very rude. Just head south to the Hollow Sim chamber and we can begin. Thank you for coming. The chamber will only work at night when the other systems are powered down. It's a limitation of our current situation, I'm afraid. This also means that I'll be in a low-powered mode too, so you'll be on your own in there. I won't be able to see or hear what happens. So, the time you get in the chamber will be strictly between you and whoever you are seeing that day. In the morning, the holograms will sync their data and ideas with me. Tonight you'll be meeting Winnie Laurier for the first time. Since the comms relay was her domain, it makes sense that you visit with her. Remember, these holographic recreations, they're based on data backups I kept for each key member of the colony. They are, in effect, the very same people. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. That is quite impressive, to be running along at more than 12 hours. That's pretty impressive, man. However, after the Rift event broke off communication with the other parts of the facility, and I lost track of these people, I was no longer able to keep them up to date. These constructs won't remember anything past a certain point. They might be a little touchy about that, so please do be careful. Anyway, when you're ready, just enter the chamber and use the control station within. When you're finished, you can return to your quarters. I'll speak to you again in the morning. Good luck in there. Welcome back, Crooked. Of course. I'm about to go meet the Hollow Sim for the first time. You're very welcome. I hope these visits help us get closer to our goal more effectively. We've got an awful lot riding on this. It's all good, buddy. So what you just missed is pretty much the computer had told me that this only operates at night, and the computer also said that it's in a low powered state, so when I go in here the computer has no, like, I'm completely on my own in here. Just kind of catching you up there, Crooked. Oh, hi there. Don't mind me, I just need to finish these calculations. I'll be done in a moment. The AI told me about your trip today. Did you, find those items you need? Yes. That's good. I'm sure the AI will be able to help get you what you need in the end. Anyway, I think I'm done here for now, I guess, so let's just have a seat on the sofa. I could use a break. This is... The AI has us all working quite a bit. We can simulate pretty much whatever we need in here to figure out how to best help you. Whatever you scan out there, the AI can give each of us in here so we can keep working. It's a pretty smart setup, really. I choose to make my work environment this room. This is how I remember my old apartment back on Earth. Is that weird? Not at all. Thank you for saying so. It's not the most practical choice, but having all my old books here and this old sofa feels like home. Yes, this is on PS4, and I believe right now is exclusive to PS4. I cannot verify if it's coming to... coming to PC? Let me check his... Yeah, so it just says PS4 and Vita. That's it. It's one guy that made it, so I don't know when it will be coming to PC, if at all. I would imagine it would, because his first game started on PC and then came to consoles. Alright, so thank you for saying so. It's not the most practical choice, but having it feels like home. Okay, read that. Anyway, the AI must certainly be keeping you busy as well, so I'm glad you're here. And since you are, well, what would you like to talk about? Let's let them pick. Oh, well, as you can probably tell, I'm not great at small talk. But, okay, let's see. How about books? Do you read much? Sometimes. I see. I don't want to bore you, but I definitely read a lot. Most of the other colonists weren't as into books as I was. I really like adventure stories. Big, complicated ones. I suppose it helped deal with the relative closeness of living in the colony. I could imagine I was anywhere, and the Hudson Cartier manual said that escape was important to thriving in a remote colony. Holy shit, I actually thought I was from like 1984. I suppose that's partly why we're equipped with this hollow sim chamber. It wasn't standard issue, so the higher-ups must have felt it was important. Yeah, no, this isn't from 94. This is, this released on Tuesday. There were programs that we all brought with us. I don't know much more about the other people did in there. Maybe some took exotic vacations. William, Maintenance Chief King, I think he had some version of his wife in there. She didn't come with him. She stayed on Earth. He never said anything about it, but I could tell it got to him. I mean, it did to all of us, but most of us were, well, alone. Normally, Hudson Cartier wouldn't allow colonists to be separated from their loved ones. They came as a package, or they didn't go at all. Kept stress down, they said. But William, well, he was a bit older and the best candidate for the job. I suppose HC knew how important he was to the mission. Damn. I wonder what his wife is doing. If she's still alive back on Earth. I wonder if she knows, you know, what happened to us. Drink's starting to set in. Do you want to talk about anything else? Let's talk about the ship's comms. Well, as I'm sure the AI explained, my job is to help you get the escape ship's communication system repaired so you don't blast off into space with no voice. That'd be nice. Even if everything else is functioning, you wouldn't want to be out there with no way to contact anyone. I think I'd rather be adrift than not have a working radio. But I think the AI's plan is sound. If you can contact someone from a shipping lane, you can hopefully arrange a pickup. Kind of like thumbing a ride back on Earth. I guess. I never did that. Now that I think of it. Or, I never did that now that I think of it. I definitely was too, well, afraid to try it. Anyway, sorry. I'm talking too much. Odd. I don't think I've ever talked this much before when I was, well, real. Alive. I wonder why that is. So, the overall goal is get off this planet. Apparently I got a broken ship, and each one of these characters that I'm going to be interacting with has knowledge of a key component to get me off this planet. I'm like a sole survivor. Something happened, and I'm like the last person alive on this colony out of like 2,000 people. So right now, she specializes in communications, like she just said, and my main goal with her is to get enough information to get communications running on my escape vessel. I know, I love that Dark Crow. When you get to that weird point where you're like, well, is it really worth the effort to try to sleep only to know that you're going to be right back up? Do you want to talk about anything else? Let's talk about the colony. See what actually happened. We had as much a chance as anyone at making this work. In the end, I don't think I could quite believe it was going to fail. We all arrived here when? 2048? What year is it now? It's 2064. Wow, so 16 years. So much has happened, and there was so much needless loss. By the time we all arrived in 2048, the remote colony building systems had all the basics ready. Most people were pretty excited to get started. But I had a harder time adjusting. Space travel will do that to some people. At least that's what the head psychologist, Miss Bouchard, told me. Something about how close everybody was, you know. It's easy to feel trapped. We trained for all of that, of course, but the real thing is different. Anyway, so you were in the comms relay today. What was it like out there? It was damp. The acidic rain must really be wearing it down then. That was one factor that we couldn't properly account for. She looks like Velma. She does, doesn't she? Hudson Cartier knew of the weather system on the planet, of course. It had a decade's worth of survey data on it, with which to plan for this project, but I guess a decade only tells you so much. The systems changed and the acidic rain became much worse and much more frequent. I'd be surprised if any of the structures there didn't suffer damage. In Colony B, we had it the worst. Things eroded so fast. The comms relay seemed relatively intact, but even so, it was tough to keep the equipment working. I can still feel the chill of that place somehow. Maybe it's a good thing you have that scarf. That when you said damp, I heard it as dank. It was dank. Time to throw out a meme, right? It's warm. I'm sure it is. It probably protects against the rain and the silica that the wind tends to bring up. Show the pages. You what? Oh, you found a notebook, didn't you? With a story in it? Oh no, that's embarrassing. Yeah, that notebook was mine. I was writing stories while to pass the time and to deal with things. I always wanted to write a book, but I never did. I guess I figured it was my only chance to try. I know it wasn't very good. I guess I was trying to put my thoughts and, my feelings into some kind of relatable way. But that was probably pretty obvious. It's funny, though. Now that I think of it, I don't know how the story ends. I can't remember everything I wrote. But what did you think of what you read? I mean, if you read it. It was good. So. Wrong button. Her emotions are great. She goes from looking suicidal to pure happy. Yeah, I thought so. I'm not That's too funny. I'm not sure if I knew what I was doing. I just had to get some things out. What else do you want? It was empty. There are 5 towers in the relay. You must have been in Tower A. It was never completed. The relay was designed to be redundant, so not everything in one place, and there are always backups of critical systems. I was the one who designed it, or consulted on the key components back on Earth, but not everything was built to spec. I remember there were some issues with some of the drones. We lost some capability, so we had to think on our feet. That's why Tower A is only half finished. It seems like almost nothing went the way it was supposed to. It was so awful to think about it. All those people. You know what's most upsetting is that most folk back home will never really know. They'll never comprehend what it was like. So it kind of sounds selfish, but as I work in here, I keep thinking about the fact that I'm here, and yet, I'm not. I think I can see you, obviously, and it all seems real. But I'm not here, am I? I'm not, I mean, I'm not really around anymore. So obviously something happened to me. I mean, the real me. But I can only remember so far back. I guess the AI's version of me only accounts for so much. It's like a backup, I suppose. The me you see, this is the most recent version, but does it count? Does any of this matter if I'm not even real? Yeah, why not? That is sweet of you to say, but I can't stop thinking about it. Believe me, I know this mission of yours is much more important right now. Look, I don't want to keep you here considering all you have to worry about. You need to rest and still have so much to do. But do you mind, well, to see if you can find out about what happened to me? Maybe find some kind of record of what I went through. Try. Okay, I'd appreciate it. I know you have more important things to worry about. Anyway, thanks again. Good night. Oh, yeah, that is crazy. That is a great example. Or like a simile. There we go, that's what I needed. It's really, it's interesting. So this is what, like, every night in the game is like. For a dead chick, she sure does talk a hell of a lot. Even in death, they don't shut up, right? Day 2. Glad to see even in the future it's the same alarm sound that we've had for the last, like, 50 years. Good morning, Vlad. I received notice that the Holosim chamber had been successfully accessed. How did it go? Yeah, I think it went really well. It's wonderful to hear. I hope Miss Laurier was able to give you some hopeful information on repairing the escape ship. I received information from Miss Laurier's construct this morning after I returned to a full waking state. Whatever happened in there, it appears to have helped her problem solve a bit more effectively in regards to the escape ship. I'm already crunching numbers on her ideas. I think this plan of ours is going to really help us out. In any event, you can return to the core when you're ready. I've got some new mission options for you today. Hey, Meowmix, how's it going, man? Trouble came in. Now that you've been in the comms relay and we have the Holosim chamber working, I think it's time to branch out a bit. You have a few choices. First, we can try to recover plant material at the agrodomes. We need to start equipping the escape ship with material for food processors. Leslie, ran the agrodome, so if you head there today, you can meet her tonight in the Holosim chamber. Next is what the colonists call the Caves, our emergency mining and processing center. The mine is available to visit. We could use more resources for fuel. Resource manager Jean Lamumba was responsible for energy production, so if you head there, you'll see him tonight in the in the Holosim chamber. What the fuck is up at 6 a.m. for everyone seems to be dead? If that's not the reason to sleep in, what the hell is? Like 50 people watching me at one point today. It didn't make sense. But dude, right on. That's awesome. I think the highest I've hit so far was about 20. So that's fucking awesome, man. That's a lot of people. Next is Well Colony B. Due to recent shifts, it's finally accessible again, although I'm reluctant to send you there. It's likely in a terrible state, but it might still have parts we can salvage for the escape ship's thrusters, and fortunately we have no choice but to check. If you do visit there, you'll get to meet Director Pierre Tong tonight in the Holosim chamber. He might not like what we discover, though. Discovering more about each colonist is key to our survival, and the more you connect with their constructs, the more they'll be able to help us. When you're ready, you can head to the south of the shuttle bay to plot a course to one of the areas. I know, that makes no sense. You should have at least 500. You should. You're freaking awesome to watch play Spelunky, man. Some random dude hosted me and brought most of them, and then someone donated. Awesome, dude. Well, congrats. That's fucking awesome. You deserve it. You're awesome. I love watching you play, Lunky. You're good at it. Far better than I'll ever be. I played a bunch on my Vita when I was up in Canada, and I still can't even get past the jungle. And that's using the shortcut. Alright, so do I go to the agrodomes, the caves, or to Colony B? I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Sounds like a good stream, dude. Sorry I couldn't stay around. Hey, so the agrodomes. It's interesting. It's gorgeous. I absolutely love the graphics. Oh, dude, I don't mind. It's got like some weird kind of adventure game style to it. Like, it's got a day and night cycle. So during the day, it's kind of very adventure game, like point and clicky, kind of exploring everything. It says that there's supposed to be some puzzles and stuff too. And then at night, you have this weird like social interaction with 4 main people that operated this colony, and you're using their information and your relationship that you create with these characters to try to get you extra knowledge to get off of this planet. It's been pretty interesting so far. It's really well written, and to be done by one guy, I'm impressed. Alright, agrodomes it is. I don't know if you ever played Home on Steam, Meow Mix, but it's the guy that made that game. This is his second game. Dude, one-man teams can come up with some pretty cool shit, and it's always just blows my mind. Or woman, yeah. This is the main grow dome in the facility, where the colonists use advanced hydroponics to grow base foods for processing. You can't see it from the ground, but the top of the building is like a giant round basin, and it was designed to catch the rainfall and collect it. The top layer of the building processes the rain to remove its acidic elements and treat it to be potable and suitable for plants. Once you're inside, you should be able to see the various grow rooms, but my readings seem off. Something's not entirely right. That's not right. The decontamination chamber you are in should be scanning you and clearing the air of toxins before you enter to protect the operation inside. Yeah, Undertale was one man, Stardew Valley was one man, and that was 10 years just a pure labor of love. Doesn't appear to be working correctly. Be careful in there. Based on what I'm reading, the facility seems to be in quite a state. Remember, we're here to find salvageable plant samples that we can use to keep the food processors running until we escape. But first, you should find something that would indicate what the crew were dealing with. Try looking for research notes on tables or desks. The dome is in pretty bad shape. It looks like the walls have collapsed and there's a lot of damage all around. There were other labs around the other side of that corridor, but you wouldn't be able to access them. We'll just have to focus our efforts here. And to think he could have saved 10 years of his life by just porting Harvest Moon. You know what? Honestly, his version, I love Harvest Moon, and his game is everything that our Harvest Moon did wrong. Like, that was 10 years, in my opinion, well spent. Those research notes handwritten by multiple people. Things must have been chaotic. Based on these, I can confirm 2 of the crew members. Leslie, of course, is the facility manager. She was always on duty, and she would have been here to the very end. And Ashley Hainsworth, the chief genetics researcher. She and Miss... I'm just going to call her Miss Barra. Had very different points of view, if their personal logs were any indication. Meaning, meaning that their arguments about Agrodome's procedure and protocol in general many times. Miss Bahara was an excellent leader, though a bit of a reluctant one. She preferred consultation with her subordinates and open discussion. Miss Hainworth, on the other hand, felt that leadership required a stronger hand, and as the situation got worse, their differences became more pronounced. No, so that's like my computer that I think is like with me. I was reading those notes on the wall there. Can't go that way yet. It's a note from the Florent Marchand, the horticultural technician. It reads, the ceiling tracks were damaged by the sudden growth of vines. Due to damage, auto sprinklers haven't been able to move correctly. This room is probably beyond repair. I was gonna say, even the walls talk a lot. There are flowers growing at the base of the vines. They appear to either be resistant to the toxins that have invaded the dome, or a result of them. Likely they took root within the filtration and drainage systems below and crawled their way up through the grate. Let's go check out that other room that was over here. Looks like a seismic event collapsed one of the walls here. You may be able to squeeze through, though. That looks like a person. Oh, I'm sorry, Vlad. You appear to have found the corpse of Arlo Jaeger, the production supervisor. His body is trapped beneath the rubble from the wall. Looks like he attempted to keep himself alive with the produce in that room, but either the tainted crops got the better of him, or help simply never came. That's kind of morbid. Where can I sneak through? It told me I could, like... Right? It said I could sneak through somewhere. What the hell? Oh, pass through the rubble. There we go. There's a note up there. It's a note from horticultural technician Florent Marchand. Special ventilation for this room is permanently shut down. Nothing we can do about it. There's an addition. If you two could have stopped bickering, maybe you could have done your job, and these crops wouldn't have failed. Just remembered I'm booked in for a tattoo tomorrow. I'm going to bleed pure alcohol at this rate. Man, that... most tattoo artists won't... At least in the States, they don't... If you're under any kind of intoxication, they will not do it because it's considered a... It can be considered assault. Because as far as the States are concerned, when you are inebriated, you're unable to give consent. So, yeah, that's one of their first questions. Are you on any kind of drug or anything? Because they won't touch you. There are an assortment of references, texts, as well as leisure reading on the shelf. There's also a collection of holotapes. Oh my, they look to be bootleg movies. There are drama, action, even romance films, all entirely illegal copies that someone must have covertly brought with them or scanned via the interspace net. If the situation wasn't so dire, I would be inclined to note this in my next report to Hudson Cartier, Mission Control, but given the circumstances, it hardly seems a priority. Aside from that, what kind of tattoo are you getting, man? That wall-mounted cot is similar to your own bed. It was meant for short-term rest for the colonists who worked there. I was half drunk when I got my tongue split, so it should be okay. Sometimes longer than normal hours were required, and that break room was used as temporary sleeping quarters often. Good work. You found something that can help us. According to these notes, a toxin of some kind compromised the whole facility, impacting food growth. There's a detailed analysis on the toxin here. I might be able to use these formula to reconfigure your scanner. Yes, this will work. You should be able to scan whatever plant life you come across now and determine if it's suitable for processing. We need to find specimens that are at least 60% viable for processing. Pop an Alka-Seltzer before you leave. A note from Florent Marchand: use of the processing machine without my say-so is expressly forbidden. Since you keep going around my back, I've password locked it. You want in? Pay attention to my warnings next time. Good find. That datapad still has some power left, and it doesn't seem to be password protected. Let me see if there's anything of use. It seems to contain a private chat thread between Ashley, the chief genetics researcher, and Arlo, the production supervisor. I'll read it to you. Getting Kiara entwined in a rose on my forearm. Also was a crest on my chest with two scrolls, one saying signed and sealed in blood, and the other saying I'd die for you. Right on. What? She's gonna look around. Hold on real quick. Oh, right on, man. Yeah, I want to get one for my son. I just don't know what I want to do yet. Alright, so now you see what I mean. Arlo, yes, it's like she's afraid to make a decision. Ashley, exactly. She seems to freeze when things like this happen. I agree that this situation with the toxins needs to be dealt with more quickly. Don't be so diplomatic. You're sounding like her. I think we have a huge problem here. She needs to make a decision. Chat log ends here. It seems like some of Leslie's subordinates didn't agree with her leadership style. Yeah, I have two. So I have a third eye on the back of my neck with the words "Open Your Mind" under it, and then I have a phoenix on my left shoulder blade that the tail goes into a half sleeve on my left arm. And I still need to get that one colored in. I got probably another 12 hours worth of just color alone to go into it. Well, this is a surprise. This plant is entirely unknown and does not one of the varieties commonly grown in the dome. Somehow it has thrived within the toxic environment. Your scan shows it's 92% viable for processing. This is promising. That spinach is genuinely quite rich in nutrients. Lab modifications have made it exceptionally so. It's been compromised somewhat by the environment, but we can still use some of it. It's 61% viable. Scanned Rampion, an ancient earth vegetable geneticist, recently revived the strain for its hardiness and nutrition. Excellent work. This leafy green is still 75% possible. It just sucks. The guy that was doing it, I lost complete contact with, so now I'm gonna have to have someone else finish someone else's work. This tube feeds water collected on the special roof. The hydroponic systems here in the dome. It looks terribly corrupted, though. The water seems heavily saturated with the toxic material that shouldn't be in the system. You've scanned some modified potatoes. Their rich color comes from the extra vitamins and minerals they carry. It looks like these potatoes were heavily affected by the toxin. They're only about 35% viable. Okay. An unknown species of flower has sprung up in this hydroponic system and appears to have mutated from another strain. Checking the flowers again to see if these are even viable as a food source. It appears not. They're too alien for our system, as these flowers are barely viable. I don't know how to get rid of those vines. What the hell? Let's enter a password. I don't know what his password is. It says I need to keep looking for plans, but no point in leaving till we get what we came for. Oh, I did not see that. Please note, solution tubes are leaking due to faulty seals. New ones are being printed and will be installed. I know it sucks, but I'm backed up with repair requests. Green bean vines were once fast-growing and efficient, but they appeared withered and dried now. Unfortunately, the scan confirms this 37%. So even less. Lentil plant still looks fairly vibrant. The surface details suggest it's mostly intact. Yes, the scan confirms an excellent find. The plant is 89% viable for processing. So that should be it, right? That should be it. Unless I'm missing something somewhere. Is there a door that I'm missing over here somewhere? No, everything looks... Alright, what the hell? Okay. Sweet. Alright, have to check those out later. Let's see. No. I need to keep searching for plants, really. I feel like I have looked everywhere for plants. What the hell? Now I'm stuck in some... No point in leaving. I can't get in there. came in here. I thought I looked at everything. Not that kind of plant. Remember when I said pot noodle and you thought I meant noodles? I can't. Hey, I live in a state where it's completely legal. I mean, you never know. I bet that exists. There's gotta be something I'm missing. I find it funny that job was capitalized there. I wonder if that's the password. There's my cat meowing like crazy. Huh. Alright. What the fuck? Weed was well on its way to being legalized here too, then we elected it to work for. Yeah, I still can't partake any of it because I have a what we call a commercial driver's license, so it allows me to drive big rigs, which is a federally regulated license. So as long as the federal government decides that they don't like marijuana, I'm held to those standards. I have to abide by those. Nope. Well, fuck. I seem to have hit a wall here. I don't know. Nothing shows up to scan. Very stuck. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Too hard. What the fuck? I wonder if I'm supposed to take one of these plants? Like, yeah, no, that doesn't seem to do anything. So, yeah. I feel like I've looked at every fucking plant around. Yeah, so I seem absolutely stuck. This is only slightly frustrating, right? Oof. Shit. I'm gonna go back into this room. So I've looked at everything in here, though. What's up? That's what I've been doing, is just running around hitting R2 in hopes that I would... I'm running along like every wall that I can find. I'm brushing up against everything. Alright. I'm gonna say this room is clear. Okay. I know there's nothing in the other room. I've checked it so many freaking times now. I'm going mad. Might end up just switching games here. Sucks. Oh, I got it. I got it. I figured out the next move. So it had this job and the word sucks were all capitalized. So the password is this job sucks. Processing machine. Colonists would take crops and turn them into raw materials for the food processors and life support systems. However, it looks like it's been reconfigured. Judging by the data, Ms. Bahara and her crew are trying to recreate an herbicide to fight off the invasive vines. It looks like they partially succeeded, but they may have had to abandon the dome before the work was finished. But why? Likely another seismic event forced them out. Someone began an automated procedure here, but didn't collect the results. By activating the machine again, you've confirmed the procedure. According to this, a successful herbicide was made. The machine should dispense it into the slot beside you. Oh yeah. That herbicide can be applied directly to vines that are in any areas where vines are getting in your way. Go away. We did it. The printed photograph is faded and damaged, but I can still make out a general image. It appears to be a breed of canine known as a corgi. The dog is at an earth farm of some kind. Corgis are often used for small-scale herding of animals such as bovines. Their diminutive stature allows them to avoid being kicked. Maybe Miss Bahara knows something about this dog. You can ask her about it when you see her in the Hollow Sim chamber. Corgis. These were flowers that Miss Bahara was growing. She seemed to be using substantial resources purely for aesthetic purposes. A certain percentage of dome production time and materials were dedicated to this for psychological and community purposes. I don't believe this effort, however, was within the allotted amounts. Miss Bahara seems to have taken quite an interest in flowers. What is unclear, however, is whether these were grown during normal production or after the toxins set in. Either way, this broken bulb has been too greatly affected, and we cannot use them for our purposes. Dog champ. A broken bulb contained chicory, which was often used as a coffee substitute. The flowers look fairly healthy. Unfortunately, prolonged exposure to the air and polluted water there means the plant is only 23% viable. Let's see when we apply it to this. Oh, there's another dead body. I regret to inform you that we've discovered Florent Marchand, horticultural technician. His remains are quite old, and your scan reveals little in how he died. Oh, dude, Black Hispanic, thank you so much for the follow, dude. I absolutely appreciate it, man. There appears to be severe trauma to his skull that could have been from a heavy blow or a sudden impact if he fell. There is a ladder there suggesting he was using it to repair something, but I can't be sure. This reminds me of Metroid Prime. Yeah, the music makes me think of it. Well, I appreciate it, Black Hispanic. I really do. Thank you, man. Where Scanning Space Pirates tells you how he died. I always loved doing all the scans in Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime was an amazing game. Like, all three of those were awesome. The only thing I hated was echoes. The end, when you had to find all the echoes, that was a bitch. That especially modified green or garden cress. This variety is far more nutritious than its natural version. It looks like the only plant that survived, but we're in luck at 78% viable. Well, you seem to have scanned everything you're going to find in there. There isn't much more you can do. It's unfortunate that the facility is in such poor shape. At least we're able to salvage something for your food supply. This doesn't solve our long-term goal of stocking the escape ship, but at least it stabilizes things while we keep working. When you're ready, head back to the shuttle and plot a course back home. That'll be it for today. Yeah, I'd have to. That's what I completely felt too. Was second best to having an actual keyboard and mouse. Once you could dial in the sensitivity and get the box like really sensitive and small, like that thing was so on point as you were aiming with the Wiimote. The poisonous plants that have invaded the dome are strange indeed. We were fortunate to find even as few samples as we did for our use. It looks like Miss Bahara and her staff were scrambling to figure out how to combat the toxin and revive the food system. After the Rift event, so many things fell apart. We're discovering more and more evidence of that. I suppose there's nothing more to be done there. You should get back home and out of the rain. Oh, what did you play it with? Oh, yeah, on the Wii, man. It was amazing to play with the Wii remote. Honestly, it was almost directly on par with like a keyboard and mouse. I'm glad to see you made it back unharmed. Please come to the core right away so we can process your findings. So, Black Hispanic, how are you doing, man? Conduit controlled relay. I never played that. I wanted to. I don't know why I never did, though. Okay, all the data you collected today is synced and ready to be worked on. You did well out there. Since you went to the Agrodomes, you'll be able to visit Miss Bahara in the Hollow Sim Chamber tonight. You can retire to your quarters when you're ready. I'll call you when the Hollow Sim Chamber is available. That's a pretty nice comparison. Way worse graphics. It's time, Vlad. Alright, here we go for the second one. Hello, Sim Chamber is ready for you now. Just head in when you're ready. Have a good evening. This is an interesting game. Interesting concept. Oh, hello there. It's nice to finally get to meet you. I'm aware of your trip today, at least partly. How did the mission go? It was difficult. Oh yes? I can remember there was quite a bit of decay and destruction. That must have been tough. I've just been here tending my garden. It's odd that now that I'm, well, this, I guess, that I finally get to do what I love. Back in the Agrodomes, we were under a lot of pressure. Managing the staff and the operation was so important. It is kind of like Unipop. But if I'm being honest, it was always the plants that I loved. The process of it, the puzzle of it all, you know? Tell me more? Meeting all the different... See, but there's also dudes, which is interesting. Well, you know, the others were obsessed with radios or drones or ships. With me, it's always been about plants. When I was little, my family had a small farm, one of the few that were left. By then, agriculture was almost entirely automated. It was illegal to sell the crops we produced, too much regulation, too many companies controlling our food. You probably remember that. So we were only able to feed ourselves, which was also technically illegal. Everything we grew was natural, or as close as we could get. But after my parents died, I couldn't afford to keep the farm to fend off the legal challenges from the companies who claimed we were stealing patented seeds. And somehow I found my way here. Hudson Cartier gave me labs, gave me farmland, let me set up greenhouses. All of the rations we had here, those were all designed in my lab, tested in my fields. All I ever wanted was to work with plants. Do you know what I mean? Sure, I get you. Why did I say how so? This place is like Rapture. Yeah, it is. It's like they took and like they're taking the best of the best, or like the elite. Well, it's like anything else. It's rewarding to be challenged to break new ground. Plants are like that for me. Maybe it's different for you, but the thrill of seeing life grow between your hands, under your feet, it's magical for me, especially since this facility is so cold. Otherwise, all the prefab halls, building block pieces, everything in its place. Plants, flowers, trees, you can only impose so much order on them, you know. They soften the edges, reduce the monotony. All I ever want to do is work on plants. I get you. Really, that's comforting, in a way. When you're the director of an operation like that, it's hard to find people who share your passions. When I signed up to come out here, I was thrilled at the idea of cultivating and nurturing an entire ecosystem. I mean, Hudson Cartier had a plan, of course. There are stages to terraforming, the ultimate one being, really, the creation of life. Yeah, I can see that, yes. Just imagine it, this whole world green, lush, vibrant, just like Earth used to be. The promise of that kept me going every day. But now all I have is this little garden, and it isn't even real. And I guess, nor am I. Oh, Vlad, what are we going to do? Don't panic. You don't know what it's like, going between feeling real, alive, and then suddenly realizing you're not. It's terrifying. Listen, let's change the subject. Otherwise, I won't be able to calm down. You must have some questions, something you want to talk about. Dog photo. Oh, that's Charlie, my old dog. Wherever did you find this? Boy, do I miss that old corgi. Poor Charlie. I don't know how long it's been before I committed to Hudson Cartier and eventually to this. I'd given him up. He was the best. I tried to make him a working dog, but to be honest, he was kind of lazy. I wasn't great at training him. Charlie would sort of pretend to listen to me, but he always had his own agenda. I was a sucker for it. He was just too charming. That scruffy little guy. He probably, well, gone by now, but the farmer who took him was great to him. I know good old Charlie. I'm so glad you brought this to me. It's nice to think about the old farm. It helps me focus. I think I can work even harder on these fixes for your ship now. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Your staff. Yeah, okay, we could talk about them. Although I warn you, I'm better with plants than I am with people. I think one of the other reasons I love working with plants so much is that they're systems I can understand. People are different. The lab work, farming, it's all complicated and often hard to predict, but people are just more so. Being the chief at the domes reminded me of that. If I'm being honest, I would have preferred to be in the labs all day, not managing people. I'm not sure I was the best of it. Well, I know I wasn't, although I can't quite remember why. I guess the AI's version of me isn't as complete as it should be. I do remember, however, Ashley. She was the chief genetics researcher. We didn't always see eye to eye. You know, just before the Rift event, I recall us having quite a heated argument. She wanted to push ahead with the new strain of tuber, and I disagreed. They should put that on the cover. It'd probably sell quite a bit at that point. Is there anything else you'd care to talk about? The domes. Sure. I can tell you more about the agrodomes before everything went askew. It was quite the place. You probably only saw the main agricultural dome. That was where all the production took place. It was really something else. Prior to coming here, we had researched for a decade the kinds of plants we should cultivate when we went through so many trials for suitability, nutrition, and efficiency. We couldn't bring meat or animals, they were just too costly and difficult to manage, but the food processors would make plant parts and create so much with them. That technology was headed up by a team that Pierre appointed. My job was to find the right plants, the ones that could be used for hundreds of different things. We actually lost more seeds than we expected during space travel here, so in a way, we started behind schedule. Finally, I was able to farm for real, not just to feed myself, but to supply an entire system. I think my parents would have loved it. I can't thank you enough for coming to visit. It does get lonely in here, even if it is beautiful. I hope you'll come back again. You bet. That'd be great. It helps to talk about these things. Go over old details. It'll keep me sharp so I can help you with your ship. I'm going to go back to my garden now, I suppose. Good luck, Vlad. I hope to see you again soon. I think she was actually a little shorter than the other girl. The other girl just talked a lot. Day 3. Good morning once again. The hologram seemed very motivated. Did you have an enjoyable time last night? Good. It was a logical conclusion, really. I think our plan to use the hologram backups is really helping. As long as they feel inspired to aid you, I believe they will excel in their work. Please keep this in mind. There are 2 more areas you can explore to further our goal, consuming the core again, and you can begin your day. Alright. So, I think I am going to change games. I'm enjoying this game, do not get me wrong. But I need a little bit of action. I need just to kind of finish off my night. So, I'm going to just quickly end this and start up on another game. It's called Absolute Drift. It's got a killer soundtrack. Whoa, dude. Are you seriously saying? No. I knew going into it wasn't going to have a whole bunch of action, but I wanted to take a look at it, and I do want to finish it, but yeah, I need to have a little something. And after watching the video for Absolute Drift, I have to play that game. So give me just 2 seconds, and I will be right back with Absolute Drift. It's gonna end my stream for a second. I'll message you, and you'll have to refresh. So let's quit title. I think it's saved. Let's see. Okay.